Um, I think there can be no doubt about it that Trinidad and Tobago is on the verge of a serious precipice in which the nation can really fall, the soul of the nation can be destroyed, and in which governance is not for the people. We are not having governance for the people of Trinidad and Tobago now. We are having governance for some of the people of Trinidad and Tobago, for few of the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Corruption has not been as it is. It's unprecedented official corruption in Trinidad and Tobago. All of the indices in the world and the perception indices show that we are more corrupt now than we were in 2010, and we are more insecure against crime than we were in 2010. How to deal with this topic in 15 minutes? I don't think that we can dispute that the first duty of a government and the paramount duty of any government is to ensure that its citizens and its people are safe and secure, and particularly safe and secure against criminal activities. As a matter of fact, the Constitution requires the government to take positive action to ensure that life and security, human life and security are safeguarded, that people are protected and people are safe. One of the principles of the Constitution of Trinidad and Tobago is that we have what is called responsible government. That means in constitutional law that the government is responsible for what happens in the country. In other words, the cabinet, the prime minister and the cabinet is responsible for the omissions and the inactions of the government, is responsible for the failures and responsible for the success. So the government cannot blame, for example, the police service and say it's the police service to be blamed when crime is out of control, because the electorate did not vote the police service at election time. The electorate voted the government to deal with the issue of crime. So I want to get that very, very clear. And part of the governance crisis in this country is the failure of this government to make our citizens safe and secure against crime. Since it got into office, I do not know if you know, it has spent $20 billion of your money in the fight against crime. $20 billion. That is 20,000 million dollars. And you have to determine the people with the studies, with the new laws, with task forces, and even with a state of emergency, has it made any difference? As a matter of fact, we are not more safe, or we are not safer today in Trinidad and Tobago as we were in 2010. As a matter of fact, I think we feel less safe. And the question which arises is that spending all that money, since this government took office, you would have had, let us just take murders, because we can't deal with the other issue. You would have had over 2,000 murders in Trinidad and Tobago. Over 2,000 murders in Trinidad and Tobago. And out of those 2,000 murders, you would have had only about 200 murders detected. And out of those 200 murders detected, you would have had only about 20 persons prosecuted and convicted. Now tell me, that cannot under any circumstances be satisfactory. And what we have is a lot of public relations, and the government is hoodwinking and fooling the population in this crime problem. As a matter of fact, the best way to deal with this is for me to deal with an issue that we had such a problem before in Trinidad and Tobago. In 1995, before the general elections, we had a problem in which Trinidad and Tobago was labelled internationally as the Wild West. And I want to tell you some of the things we did and you will examine to see what they are doing, which is the complete opposite. And you will have to ask yourself, is this government serious about the fight against crime? When I became the Attorney General under the UNC administration, the political leader of the party, Mr. Pandey, had gone to the electorate and he had said that if we got into office, crime would be dealt with. And he said, Ramesh would be the Attorney General and we would deal with the issue of crime. And the government dealt with the issue of crime. The UNC administration dealt with the issue of crime. As a matter of fact, one of the first things we did, we said that the borders of Trinidad and Tobago had to be protected. And if you remember, within months of getting into office, we entered into agreement with the British, the American and the Canadian to get help to protect the borders, because Trinidad and Tobago is a major transshipment for drugs into America and England and other parts of the world. So we protected the borders. We even entered into a shipwright agreement for the Americans to assist us in tracking down drug boats. What this administration did, when it got into office, the first thing it did is to make the borders free for drug people to come in and illegal firearms to come in. And it is still free. There is nothing outside there to prevent drug traffickers from coming into Trinidad and Tobago and guns, illegal guns coming into Trinidad and Tobago. And that is what this government has done, cancel the OPVs. What did we do? We ensured that there was a national radar system which monitored every aspect of the coastline so that the police and the intelligence can see when boats are coming into Trinidad and Tobago. We did that. The radar system doesn't work under this administration. Why it is that this government has facilitated the free flow of arms and drugs into Trinidad and Tobago and allowed people who are involved in drug trafficking and money laundering and illegal firearms to have a free trade. And a lot of people in Trinidad and Tobago are saying, is it that the people who contributed to the political fund of the administration winning the election, was it done for them and not taken action to protect the people of Trinidad and Tobago? What did we do again? Because if you're serious about fighting crime, you will want to attack the problem. We passed a law, a DNA law. That meant that you would have had a bank of human DNA in Trinidad and Tobago. So when a crime is committed, you could detect the crime by DNA. Not to have eyewitnesses was not necessary. This administration has done nothing. It tried to change the law again and it has not done nothing to have such a bank. Such a bank is not functioning in Trinidad and Tobago. So if you have crime and you can't detect it with DNA, well, we're going to see what they did with witness protection program. We had a witness protection program that when witnesses saw a murder, they would come forward and they'd be protected. And even if we have to send them abroad to protect them, and even if we have to give them a new life, we would give them. This government has disbanded that. Now witnesses do not want to go in the witness protection program because they feel if they go in the witness protection program, they'll be shot and killed. So you have no DNA bank, your border is free, you have no witness protection program, and it's because of the witness protection program and the laws that we passed, we were able to get Dolce. We were able to hand Dolce executed. We were able to take his estate for the benefit of the people of Trinidad and Tobago. We were able to trace the profit of crime of the drug traffickers and confiscate it through the courts for the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Nothing happening under this administration. Gone through. We have to face the facts. Some of us may be partnership, some of us may be cop, but we have to understand that you have to forget all of that because what is happening now, this partnership is not for the people and the cop is not for the people. What did she do again? What did the leader do again? You have experienced police officers, SWAT,
Those police officers who know how to fight crime, fight money laundering, detect murders, she got rid of them. What did she do? You had the National Security Agency. She manipulated it. She put a lady called Ramesh Lawerence Maharaj, who was getting $4,000 a month, started to get $40,000 a month, and she had a bogus certificate. Politicized the whole thing. Politicized the National Security Council, and in effect, got rid of most of the intelligence services which would have assisted Trinidad and Tobago to fight crime. How you could fight crime if the government is declaring war against police? They're fighting the police in the court. Do you know right now, SRPs have case against the government in the court. The municipal police have case against the government in the court. The first division police have case against the government in the court. The second division police have case. Every security agency, state security agency, have case against the government. And what you have as if you're manufacturing legal issues, as if the government is manufacturing legal issues to give legal briefs to some attorneys with huge fees. And in effect, what is happening, the country is suffering in the fight against crime. Some of the legal fees which are being paid to some lawyers are totally exorbitant. Totally exorbitant. And issues are being manufactured by this government so that legal fees can be paid. What did we do again? We realized that you had to have a machinery to get information from the different countries. We passed a law called the Mutual Legal Assistance in Criminal Matters. We set up the central authority in the AG's office in order for it to be able to get information from foreign governments, and the foreign governments had a duty to take steps abroad to get that information, to get evidence. That central authority, if it was used by this government, could have caused the arrest of several drug traffickers, the culprits in the email gate, and many other criminals in Trinidad and Tobago. And it has not been used. As a matter of fact, what the Attorney General has done, he has got rid of the experts in the central authority, and they have put political party persons to run that so it could be manipulated for their own purposes. How could you fight crime and the Prime Minister sits down and does nothing about it? But even worse, the Attorney General gets up the other day and said the bail bill will help in the fight against crime. Before you reach bail, you have to lock them up, you have to detect the crime. You can't have bail if you have not detected the crime. He said he didn't know criminal law. But the man is showing that he doesn't know law. So the bail bill cannot help in the fight against crime because there is no detection of crime, serious crime, to in effect cause a problem in Trinidad and Tobago. As a matter of fact, the lack of detection is causing a problem in Trinidad and Tobago. So, my brothers and sisters, they could talk about death penalty. They could talk, Mr. Griffith, the Minister of National Security, can talk, and he talks and talks and talks and talks. What is happening in the fight against crime? It's a lot of talk, but no governmental action. In respect of corruption, I think it is quite clear that this government cannot fight corruption. Because if the government is corrupt, it cannot deal with corruption. And this is a government which has shown that it is not interested in dealing with procurement processes. Its promised legislation to deal with that is not there. And as a matter of fact, this is a government that in effect finds nothing wrong in the wife of a minister having business, and the business is being given by the husband to the wife. As a matter of fact, you have ministers in this government who have started to have businesses, and they started to have businesses so the contract for particular things can go to the wife. And it is nothing wrong in all the things that they're doing. As a matter of fact, there's a new standard set up under this government. And the new standard is, it is okay to be corrupt. It is okay to be corrupt. And that is why this country is in trouble. Standards of conduct in public life are no longer at a high standard. They facilitate the corruption. They thrive on it. And as a matter of fact, if you speak to some of the contractors, they will tell you to get a contract, they have to pay a commission of 40%. And that 40% upfront is that they are being told that that money is going, some going to officials, but some going into the election fund. So in effect, the partisan government intends to use state funds to fight the next general election. And I want the Integrity Commission to investigate what kind of commissions, if any, these ministers who give contracts are getting. Because most of the contractors who talk to me said how they have to give this commission in order to get the contract. But I told them, and I'm telling you here today, not only the contractors will be guilty of corruption, but the minister who taking the commission would also be guilty of corruption. And I want to tell you here today, if you, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, decide that you want change and you want serious governance, you don't want superficial, you don't want cosmetic, you want serious government, a proper government can bring back all the corrupt proceeds back for the people of Trinidad and Tobago and jail the corrupt ministers. Thank you very much.